Hello, I'm Nick at Gorgon Reviews, and today I will be interviewing Owen Macken, director of the new film Here Are the Young Men, which came out Tuesday, April 27th on VOD platforms. Here Are the Young Men is a coming-of-age story about three boys who just finished high school and are determined to enjoy their last real summer until they can't anymore for plot reasons. Thanks for stopping by. You say you're in Australia right now?
I am, yeah.
Nice. The first real question, what's the first movie you ever saw in theaters?
Oh wow. I don't know. For some reason I want to say Jurassic Park, but I know that can't be right. But for some reason that's what I'm going to say. I'm not sure.
I'll be honest, like if I had to put a number, two out of every like seven people say Jurassic Park. So it could be. It
Do
could
they
be.
really? Yeah,
It's just one of
probably.
those that people remember, or
Probably.
Jaws, or well, not you, but Jaws, but
Yeah,
people born in the
probably.
80s.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, anyone who's born in the 80s says Jurassic Park. God, I don't know. I need to think about that now. That's a good that's a good question. Let's go with Jurassic Park because no one else has said it.
Exactly. Um, and what made you want to get into acting, directing, and every other part of the movie making process that apparently you do?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't as a kid. It didn't seem like something that I could do, and I just always wanted to write, and I wanted to write books, and being a writer was something I wanted to do. And then it was only when I was in college, that I met some people who were kind of in the drama society, and I met some people making independent films, and then I started acting, and then I just fell in love with it, and then I just fell in love with everything to do with photography and filmmaking, and became a bit obsessed with it. And that's kind of what happens. Basically, once I went to college, I just was like a whole different world opened up to me in terms of like the visuals and the idea of storytelling.
Outside of writing movies, do you not write anymore?
I do. I've written a couple of books, and I just finished a third book, which is currently with my editor, and I'm working on another one. I'm working on an adaptation of a kind of some Irish mythology, and I just love writing, and I just love reading books, and that's kind of what I do in my spare time is just watch movies and read. One of my favorite thing about traveling is just that then bringing books with me, and then I can just you get an hour to sit down somewhere and read a book and a cup of coffee, and I'm very happy.
Nice. Um,
I think it was
here,
actually sorry, just sorry. I know you could question just because you asked about the film. It's actually not actually films, which are the first thing I remember. I actually remember that it was actually books because I always remember The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings were like some of the first ones that and any stuff by David Gemmell. It was actually more books that when I was a teenager that kind of connected to me,
mhm,
and listening to music while reading books as opposed to watching movies. That was more my thing.
nice. So you wrote and directed and starred in Christian Blake as Christian Blake. Um, how did all that come together for you?
Well, that was just because God, we made that movie so long ago. That was one of the first movies I ever made because I was trying to I was basically just trying to learn how to make movies, and I was trying to learn how to act, and I wanted to kind of understand filmmaking. So the best thing to do for me was just to kind of write a kind of write a character and shoot it. That movie was how I learned how to edit and make films.
Should I watch that movie?
No, most definitely not.
Okay. um, and then what made you want to turn the book Here Are the Young Men into a movie?
Because Rob Doyle has an incredible voice, and he really got into the kind of headspace of these characters, and it's a really it's a dark and uncomfortable look at kind of what goes on in these characters' heads, but it's also quite beautiful in terms of looking at examining friendship because they're all quite innocent, and it just happens that they go to these dark places, and it's quite unflinching, and I just thought that his writing was incredibly cinematic, and it kind of reminded me of like when I read the book, I wanted to listen to the music that's in the film, like Chemical Brothers and Joy Division and Primal Scream, because I like listening to music when I read something. And so Rob's writing kind of evoked those feelings in me. So I was like, I have to make this into a film.
Glad you mentioned that. I'll jump around to a different question. Um, One of the parts in the film for me that really like kind of raised it to another level was near the end with the club scenes. and when the opening riff of Where Do I Begin by the Chemical Brothers started playing, and I want to know, how involved were you in the song choice process?
I mean, that was fundamentally one of the most important things to me. I mean, my composer is an American guy called Ryan Potesta, who's incredible, and we worked in a couple of things before. And I wanted to get him to compose a soundtrack that complemented the songs I wanted in the movie. So we were kind of heavily, the music and the composition was massive in terms of me. Like, I had a lot of the songs planned in advance. Ryan had written some of the score in advance, and I decided in advance that Chemical Brothers, Joy Division, and the Primal Scream and Slow Dive were going to be in the movie. And we really had to kind of set up. So I kind of wrote certain scenes based off knowing I could use that music, and because I even wrote, I had a big playlist that I was writing the script to when I was doing the prep. I had a big playlist of the songs that kind of fit each scene. So I like to write to music. So a lot of them I kind of knew, like the Chemical Brothers song. I kind of designed that sequence based around that song.
You can tell because it fits obviously very well, lighting and mood and
yeah.
the
I think we
events that
actually
are going to
played.
happen.
I think we actually played that song. Which, when we were first shooting that rave near the end, I think we actually played that song off giant speakers to time everything for people walking into it and to get all the crowd into it, so they knew what they were kind of listening to.
Was there any part of the book that you couldn't put into the movie for any reason that you wanted to?
There was, because the book is even darker than the movie, if you can believe that. I mean, the book's incredible, but it is, and there was some stuff I was like, we just can't go down those roads too much because the movie's already kind of incredibly dark. So the movie for me was actually about kind of giving it more of a linear story and kind of and softening some parts and kind of working on the dynamics of some of the characters, because the book is amazing, but it's also, there's some stuff you're like, it's got some really dark thematic content to it. And I wanted to kind of give a bit more of a balance to it,
Yeah. And you play a small role in it as a homeless American. Did you
Oh,
draw
do
inspiration?
I? Yeah,
That's what it's listed as.
right.
Did you draw any inspiration off of anyone for that role?
No, I did not. I'd tell you what happened was I that was for that sequence where Carney's in America, and I had a guy, a buddy who's an actor, who was meant to be able to come down to do that part, and he was late in traffic because LA traffic. And so it was such a small thing. The easiest thing for me to do was to play it. So I was like, all right, I can do this.
And what's next for Owen in life?
I'm filming. Thank you for asking. I'm filming an NBC show called La Brea at the moment, and then I have a movie with Megan Fox called Till Death that comes out in July. And then
What was the show name?
La Brea.
La Brea. Okay.
And then Till Death with Megan Fox that comes out in July the 2nd, I think, in America. And then I have another movie in Irish horror called The Cellar with Alicia Cuthbert that comes out later this year.
Oh. Do you die in any of them?
I can't tell you that. I can't.
All right. Well, thanks for stopping by and answering these questions. Here Are the Young Men came out Tuesday, April 27th, and VOD platforms near you. It stars a few people you probably recognize from some famous TV shows, and also Anya Taylor-Joy. So good luck on all the shows and movies you got going on, and catching up on sleep.
Thank you. Appreciate it, buddy. Good luck on teaching on Zoom. Hope it ends soon.
Have a good day.
All right,
Bye.
buddy. Pleasure. Thank you.